Y'all ever notice when black men cross 60, they say whoosh and not wish? That's what my silly ass mind was thinking about last night as I was going. I was like, dang. It's like when black dudes, when we like in our 40s, we still you say wish, 30s you say wish. 50s, early 50s, you still say, I wish I had something. But it's like when black men turn 60, they be like, I whoosh a nigga would. Like, nigga, did you just say whoosh? Like when they go to church, they be like, worship. We are here to worship. We having praise and worship. Let me change my title here. Let me change my title. What are we talking about today? I'm thinking about black. Man, I wish that nigga would. If a black man say I wish he would, you better run, nigga. If he get to whooshing, nigga, you in troubles. What am I talking about today? Okay. Angry black man stereotype. Anyway, welcome everybody. Thank y'all for joining. We're here to talk about this angry black man stereotype. And I wanted to come with y'all yesterday, but talk about this. But I was kicking with my man Brandon Tony at his bar. And I got loaded midday. Look, let me tell you something, man. You can't be drinking that goddamn 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 o'clock in the afternoon in your 40s and think you still gonna have a productive evening. Hell nah. I was in that bed. I didn't even get to see the UCLA. I didn't even get to see the Lakers get their ass whooped. I was knocked the fuck out. Counting sheep with the sun still up. But anyway, thank y'all for joining. The angry black man stereotype exposed. For those of you who don't know, we're getting ready to play the video. Stephen, an executive with ESPN, was secretly recorded. I don't know if he was secretly recorded or he was recorded intentionally and didn't know it was gonna leak. Either way it goes, audio was leaked of an ESPN executive saying that Stephen A. Smith plays the angry black man stereotype. Question: why are we having this conversation? Here's why. You've been seeing the headlines trying to twist it and say that he called Stephen A. Smith an angry black man. No, he didn't. He said Stephen A. Smith plays the stereotype. And what have I always told you guys about all media? All media is propaganda, especially sports. See, I had a lot of niggas arguing with me when I talk about this whole situation with when I talk about LeBron or Jordan and basketball. That shit is propaganda because they know niggas love our goddamn basketball. And we not gonna watch The View. They know they can get middle-aged, church-going black women with The View and white women with The View and with the Steve Harvey show. But when it comes to black men under the age of 50, bring up a Jordan debate, you got them. And ESPN has a lot of black people on TV. And the reason is, and Dick Gregory broke this down a long time ago, is because black men, that's what black men are most likely to consume. With us having the highest unemployment rate, we're going to be the ones home when you have a high unemployment rate at 1 o'clock, at 2 o'clock. Or if you like those like me, who I'm not unemployed, I got my own company, we get it how we get it. You know what I mean? So those of us who get it how we get it, a lot of us have time to watch ESPN in the morning, although I don't. So how do you have all of these black men on TV and still control the image of black men? Let me tell you how. You put people in characters, in roles. ESPN, just like the news, just like the Joy Luck Club, goddammit, and sitcoms and TV, everybody has to fit into a role. A role that reinforces the propaganda. You either gonna have the gay dude, or you're going to have the soft, passive nigga that just basically gets on camera and gets run over by everybody. You're going to have the gangster, the tough nigga, or on the women's side, the ratchet. or you're going to have the angry black man. You got to have the angry black man. Y'all remember Beverly Hills Cop? I love Beverly Hills Cop. Remember Officer Todd? He was the angry black man. Foley, what the fuck are you doing here? Don't fuck up that $50,000 Ferrari, Foley. Remember that? Y'all remember him? You know, because Eddie Murphy was too lighthearted, you know, in Beverly Hills Cop. So you gotta have that angry nigga coming in cussing. Now, what the fuck is going on in here? Samuel L. Jackson plays a great angry black man. You know? And you get these characters that keep showing up because they got to keep us in this box. And so people watch sports and these sports gossip shows thinking that they're getting a break from entertainment, not knowing that's every bit as scripted as your favorite sitcom, as your favorite movie. Sports is scripted, especially sports coverage. You can watch a game. You can see Jaylen Brown win the fucking MVP of the goddamn finals and then turn on ESPN and listen to Stephen A. Smith talk about why Jaylen Brown's not marketable. The angry black man is an image that white America and non-black America and black America cannot get enough of. If you're going to have black men on camera, you better have these niggas fighting. You're going to have these niggas going at it. You got to have it. You cannot allow black men on camera every day to have civil discourse. If you notice, you watch the baseball coverage, they're having civil discourse. They're not comparing every current pitcher to Sandy Koufax, to Randy Johnson. Clayton Kershaw got to be Clayton Kershaw. He wasn't compared to Oral Hershiser every time he went up to pitch. The way a current black man in the NBA is always constantly compared to Michael Jordan. So you got to have these debates. And you got to have these fights. You got to add this angry black man to fight. And Stephen A. Smith is the perfect angry black man because he fights. He fights. He fights. But then when a white man gets in trouble like Robert Kraft, oh yeah, you know, it's just so disappointing. Or when Dana White get caught slapping up his woman, Dana White's my friend. You notice the nigga is always angry until it's a white boy that's in the news. The white man's either not going to get acknowledged, or if he does get acknowledged, he's my friend. It's like the angry pit bull gets real humble when talking about white people. So that's what I'm setting this up with. We're about to listen to the audio right now all the way through. We're going to listen to it one time all the way through, and then we're going to come back and break down the audio, and we're going to talk about why Ryan Bertrand was right. And him talking about Stephen Asshole Smith. There we go. All right, let's go. Let me turn this audio up. It'll help if I turn the audio up.
You're loud.
Here we go. So
we have this one guy, his name is Stephen A.
And this is Ryan Bertrand, producer at ESPN. Listen to what he says.
We have this one guy man on TV. The angry black man stereotype is basically you're loud. You talk over people. What you say is not necessarily important. It's more how loud you are and how you deliver your speech. He does that pretty well. I think the higher-ups at ESPN and Disney see that. He's like this angry black man. He goes on Fox News probably like once a week. And he'll talk about like Gaza. And he has no idea about Gaza. Talking about like his views on Gaza. And we're like, brother, you were just talking about the Lakers like 3 hours ago. Like, what do you know about Gaza? Stephen A. had been talking about LeBron's son for like a while. LeBron like confronted him at a game one time. And then ever since that, Stephen A's been on like 4 different podcasts basically like I thought it was a weak move, like coming up to me and whatnot. It's just this whole like embarrassing thing that we're all like rolling our eyes at. They just think he's crazy, just trying to create attention, you know, which is his job, I guess. He gets paid a lot of money to do that. So.
To do what?
To like create chaos, to create like controversy, like an argument. That's like his job.
Create chaos.
Like an investor?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Very much whoever's buying my shit, I will sell you my bull. Which it's like Fox News sometimes. We have this one guy. His name is Stephen A. Smith.
Okay, so that was it. Then we're going to play it again and break it down. So basically what you see here is I just got a text message from one of my guys that works at the NFL Network. He said some white supremacist network website basically tried to extort him. And he didn't do it. So they dropped his audio. That sounds like it. It's like basically it looked like he went on a fake date. And some chick basically recorded him and dropped this. Ryan Bertrand, I stand with you. All right? I stand with you. I stand with Ryan Bertrand because if you listen to what he was saying closely, he was not calling Stephen A. Smith an angry black man. He said what we all know. Stephen A. Smith plays the character of an angry black man. And what have I been telling y'all on the channel since day one? Anything produced by Disney is a fucking fantasy. It's not real. It's play. It's bullshit. And ESPN is a bullshit-ass network that creates characters. It wasn't like this on ESPN before Disney bought it. Disney bought ESPN and they started working in the 2003 season. Because my Lakers, we won 0-2 against the New Jersey Nets, and I was still on NBC. And we lost to the Spurs 0-3. So I remember that year we lost to the Spurs. That was the year that ESPN took over like basketball and all that stuff, announcing basketball in 0-3 season. My basketball memory go back to Laker championships. Like, I know the year based on if the Lakers won a championship or not. Crazy. That's what happened when you're Laker fans. You won so goddamn much, you can mark off years in the past by the years we won and the years we lost. Free my Lakers from LeBron. Get LeBron ass out of here. He ain't a real Laker. But that's a side note. Anyway, they got their ass beat by Chicago last night because that punk ass nigga wanted to pass stats and not play no fucking defense. Anyway, so ESPN is owned by Disney. Disney creates a fantasy. So all that goddamn talking and huffing and puffing and loud talk that you niggas see every day on ESPN is made up bullshit. How long have I been telling y'all that? It's all made up. It's all bullshit. There is no greatest player of all time. Jordan's not the greatest. He's just the greatest of the 90s. He's the best player of the 90s. But in my opinion, the greatest player of all time can't get his ass beat 3 times in a row by the same nigga, Isaiah Thomas. Half your size. You can't beat no greatest if one dude smacked you around 3 times. Nigga, you didn't start winning till all the OGs retired. That's all. And got old. Magic Bird and Isaiah spent a whole decade beating each other to pieces. And when they got done beating each other to pieces, you finally started winning. Cool. That makes you the best player of that decade, of the 90s. Not the best of all time. Nigga, hell no. But Nike and ESPN, Nike controls the propaganda. Nike got to sell you shoes. Nike got to sell you product. So I got to have the greatest. And the NBA doesn't market itself. Nike markets the NBA. Nike's The NBA's partners, Gatorade, Nike, Duracell Battery, McDonald's, these are the people who market the NBA. NBA has starting in the 80s, outsourced its marketing to its brand partners. That was something that David Stern set up back in the 80s. It's all bullshit. There is no greatest player of all fucking time. You might say, okay, this player is the best player in this position. This player is the best player of that era. This is the best player, of that time. But there's no one player that was just the greatest of all time. If there is, it's probably either Wilt Chamberlain or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. If there is. But I don't even know. I don't know. But they sell you that shit. They sell you that shit to sell you a product. And they need the angry black men to do it. No, Skip. No, Skip. The Jordan's the greatest player of all time because I was there. Why? Like, nigga, calm down. You Jeffrey Osborne looking turtle, calm down. If Jordan was the greatest of all time, Kid Cash, you wouldn't have to say I'm sorry. What you apologizing for? I trip me out people say I'm sorry. What you sorry for? That's your opinion. Why are you apologizing for your opinion? But there is no greatest player of all time. Again, Jordan got his ass whooped all throughout the 80s. If he was the greatest player of all time, at least Magic came in as a rookie winning championships. Magic knocked out the best player in the NBA as a rookie. Dr. J was the best player in the league. Dr. J was the man, was the Jordan of the 70s. Magic came in right as a rookie. Nigga, winning right now. Fuck out of here. You can't get your ass beat by Larry Bird and then get your ass beat by Paul Pressey. Before Jordan got whooped on by the Pistons, he was getting his ass whooped by the Milwaukee Bucks and Paul Pressey and Sidney Moncrief. Sidney Moncrief and Paul Pressey was putting it on Michael Jordan's ass. Smack, get out of here, nigga. Smack, get out of here, nigga. And then he played against Bird. Smack, get out of here, nigga. Then he played against Isaiah 3 times in a row. Smack, 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 smack. Then the league had to come in and be like, Pistons, stop fouling Michael Jordan so hard. Larry Bird had to win in spite of the Pistons fouling. Magic and Worthy had to win in spite of the Pistons fouling. David Stern came in and was like, you can't touch him. You can't touch him. So the Pistons and the Knicks and the Pacers got to smack everybody else around. But when Jordan came in, hachoo, foul. Like, what? Somebody said, look at Magic's teams. Look at the teams Magic played against, dumbass. Yeah, look at Magic's teams. Okay, let's look at Magic's teams. Yeah, you had Kareem, Magic, and before Worthy, you had Silk Wilkes, Norm Nixon, right? That's the Lakers squad. Playing in 83 against the 76ers. The 76ers had Dr. J, Hall of Fame. Bobby Jones, Hall of Fame. Andrew Toney, Hall of Fame. Moses Malone, MVP and Hall of Fame. You see how that works? You had 4 Hall of Famers going against 4 Hall of Famers. When you go to 85, okay, now you got Worthy. Now Norm Nixon's gone. Silk Wilkes is gone. Now you got Worthy and Byron Scott replacing them. All right, cool. You got Michael Cooper just made the Hall of Fame off the bench, but you don't really count him. What does it count Michael Cooper? You got Magic, Kareem, Worthy. Playing against Dennis Johnson, Hall of Fame. Kevin McHale, Hall of Fame. Larry Bird, Hall of Fame. Robert Parrish, Hall of Fame. 5 Hall of Famers Magic had to play against in the finals. 3 different times. And 2 different times against the Sixers. You see how that works? Look at who Jordan played against in the finals. Talk about 6-0. Let's go to the Phoenix Suns. Charles Barkley, Hall of Fame. Nobody else. Okay, cool. Let's go against the Lakers. Magic and Worthy. Old Magic and Worthy that couldn't even make it to game 3, past game 3. Matt Worthy was out of here halfway through the playoffs. But you got Pippen. 2 Hall of Famers versus 2 old Hall of Famers. Okay, you got that. Let's play against the Portland Trailblazers. Clyde Drexler. Ooh, only Hall of Famer. Meanwhile, you got 2. All right, cool. Let's go to the Seattle Sonics. Gary Payton. Ooh, only Hall of Famer. Wow. Meanwhile, you got 3 Hall of Famers. Rodman, Pippen, and Jordan. All right, let's throw Sean Kemp. I do think Sean Kemp should be in the Hall of Fame. But you got Sean Kemp playing against Dennis Rodman, the best fucking defender in the NBA. Okay, let's go to Utah. John Stockton, Karl Malone, Hall of Fame. All right, now you finally playing against a team with 2 Hall of Famers for the first time in your run. But you literally got Dennis Rodman is the only player in the NBA that can guard Karl Malone one-on-one. Karl Malone was unstoppable, except for when Dennis Rodman guarded him. You literally have your 3rd Hall of Famer, somebody that can guard their Hall of Famer one-on-one. And you got 6'6" Jordan and 6'6" Pippen going up against goddamn 6 foot John Stockton and 6'2" Jeff Hornacek. Fuck out of here. Jordan just had the better team. Jordan just had the better team every time he won. That doesn't equate to the greatest. Airless Smoke said, Bird smacking MJ and calling nigga is wild. Now, he didn't call him a nigga. He smacked him around, though, but he didn't call him a nigga. Yeah, tip the host, $ Dewan B1. You're not, see, you niggas is used to, this is exactly what I'm saying. Y'all used to listening to ESPN with these contrived arguments because Nike tells the NBA, Jordan or bust. And then in the last 15, 20 years, they shoehorned LeBron into the conversation. Don't talk about nobody else. We're only going to keep the conversation on these 2. We only going to limit Michael Jordan's career to the 6 years he won a championship. I bet half you niggas didn't even know the Milwaukee Bucks swept Michael Jordan's ass twice. He was getting his ass beat by Paul Pressey. Calm down. And yeah, they like to forget the one time Michael Jordan came up against a team in the East that was as good as him, the 95 Magic, because 95 Magic had Prime Penny, Shaq, Nick Anderson, Dennis Scott. Michael Jordan got his ass whooped. That next year, Shaq was injured that next year. He played, but Shaq was hurt that next year. And so was Penny. Shaq and Penny were playing injured in 96. But in 95, when they weren't injured, they beat the shit out of Michael Jordan. And I don't want to hear nothing because, oh, he was rusty. That nigga dropped 55 points on the Knicks in the first round. You ain't rusty if you dropping 55 points on the Knicks. I don't want to hear none of that shit. That nigga had fresh legs. Played against, they like to act like that shit didn't even happen. Got his ass whooped. Yeah, Horace Grant. People forget how great Horace Grant was. Horace Grant was fucking amazing. One of the best role players you can ever have. It's the reason why Horace Grant came to the Lakers in 2001 and the Lakers had that 15-1 playoff run the year Horace Grant played with them. He was one of the greatest role players you could ever have. So, let's get the fuck out of this Jordan dick washing. You're not going to limit some man's career to 6 years and say he was the greatest of all time because of 6 years. When I look at his whole career, he was getting his ass whooped. Hell, on the other hand, Magic played 12 years, or 12 non-AIDS years, and went to the finals 10 of those 12 years. If you don't sit your ass down, well, 9. Magic played 11 years and went to the final 9 of those 11 years. What's up, Matthew Marr? We got a true basketball historian in the house. I got to have you back on to talk about some of this basketball stuff. Yeah, Jordan, I'm going to be the guy. Nike makes $7 billion a year off Jordan. It's a lot of money that's highly vested in you niggas saying having this Jordan LeBron bait. Because it's creating a synergy for them to make more money with their shoes. If Jordan was selling Air Magic Johnsons, nigga, Air no look passes, I promise you, Magic, you everybody in here, because remember, Nike wanted Magic first. Nike wanted Magic first. Magic said no and stayed with Converse because he didn't want to sign and give his rights away like Michael Jordan did. If Magic said yes, he would be the greatest of all time. Stop it, stop it, stop it. Magic saying no to Nike is what made Michael Jordan the greatest of all time. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar being a militant nigga is what made Michael Jordan the greatest of all time. Talking about some damn... And then people forget about his expansion. People forget. 1988, 1989, the NBA added 4 new teams. That's 48 players that would not have made the NBA 2 years ago. You get the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Charlotte Hornets, the Orlando Magic, and the Miami Heat. Those 4 teams come in within 2 years. And then when you get to 95, 96, 94, 95, you get Toronto Raptors and the Grizzlies. 6 teams that came in. Let me tell y'all how bad the Jordan era was. They had to shorten the fucking three-point line in the 90s, in the early 90s, because niggas couldn't shoot. Jordan was 6'6", playing against 6'2" shooting guards. John Starks, 6'2". Craig Elo, 6'2". Jeff Hornacek, 6'2". The only 6'6" guards he played against was Clyde Drexler and Reggie Miller. And he only played Reggie Miller once in the playoffs, and that was his only 7-game series. The one time he had to face somebody else that was 6'6". Vernon Maxwell, 6'2". We can keep going down a list of 6'2" guards that Michael Jordan was guarding. He coming up here. Jordan's primary competition was 6'2" guards, 190 pounds. When he was 6'6", 230, with a 2,000-inch vertical. So, no, let's stop that Jordan line because it goes back to what we're talking about in this topic. ESPN, they create characters. And through these characters, Ryan Bertrand said it, it doesn't even matter what you say. No one cares about you. Say, that's what the angry nigga up there huffing and puffing. Don't even matter what he say. You're right. Hey, Matthew, I was going to say that. You said it for me. I was going to say that, but I didn't because we're going too far back. We talking about Wilt with these niggas that think Jordan's a GOAT. Wilt Chamberlain was way too much of a cocky asshole. He didn't give a fuck. It was a story about Wilt Chamberlain. Somebody asked, is it hot up there? And Wilt Chamberlain spit on a dude's head and said it's raining. That's not exactly how the story went, but it was something like that. You niggas have been propagandized. I didn't say ESPN created Jordan. Listen, I said Nike created Jordan. ESPN is just the voice box that pushes the message that Nike created. David Falk. I told you guys the story, and I got proven right on that show with the Lakers. On that show Showtime, they'll tell you something I told you on this channel in 2020. Let me tell y'all the story real quick before we go back and let's break this audio down. David Falk went to Duke. Duke is where my wife graduated college from. They playing right now. And she called me at the time. This 2000, 2001. She called me when it happened. Was like, yo, we just had a whole presentation with David Falk. And she told me everything they was talking about. David Falk, for you guys don't know, was Michael Jordan's agent. And he talks about how he got a deal with Nike and the the NBA, Nike got in bed together. The NBA was in the Magic Bird era, and the Magic and Bird is what got everyone watching the NBA. When David Stern took over the NBA in '84, you know, he knew Magic and Bird was going, but he knew that wasn't going to be it. They had to go beyond Magic and Bird if they really wanted to make the NBA global. So they partnered with Nike. Okay? Nike initially wanted Magic to be the person that pushed everything through. Magic had the natural smile, Magic had the charisma, and Magic had the wins. But Nike, they couldn't get him. So what Nike did when they got Jordan, their second choice, what they did, if you pay attention, you don't have too many Michael Jordan interviews from his first 2 years in the NBA. Just go back and look. It's very few rookie, and Michael Jordan was rookie of the year. Why didn't he get more interviews? But you don't see too many of them. Why? Because he still had the North Carolina twang in his voice. He had the Carolina Southern accent. And in order for Nike to push this agenda, they had to get him talking more American. For those you don't know, standard English is English as spoken in Chicago. Chicago is actually known, like, for real, like when you go, if you ever take a speech class or something like that, they're going to tell you standard English is English as spoken in Chicago, because Chicago is the home of radio. Radio is the first place that, Chicago is the first place that had the strongest radio signals in the country, and their radio went everywhere. So they had to take the North Carolina twang out of Jordan's voice and give him more of a Chicago style of speech. So he worked with speech therapists, he worked with stylists, and they crafted an image. So from the way he talks, to the way he dresses, to how he interviews, to how he interacts, that was all an image crafted by Nike 86, 87, 85, 86, 87, 88. While Magic and Bird is winning, while Jordan is getting his ass whooped every year in the playoffs, Nike's creating videos. Come Fly With Me. Press the number one if you remember Come Fly With Me. So they're creating these videos, and I was a kid when these videos were coming out. I was a video when these videos. I was a kid when these videos were coming out. Oh shit! Let me. I'm over here listening to myself. I was a video when these videos. When I was a kid when these videos. Hold on. So there we go. Am I doubling now? You had the different Michael Jordan videos, and those videos were creating the propaganda, the posters, and it was Nike using. It was the NBA using Nike to market itself that pushed Jordan to the top. Michael Jordan's Playground, Michael Jordan Airtime, Michael Jordan Above and Beyond. Michael Jordan always said he was like the only nigga really getting them videos like that. Airtime, The Playground, Come Fly With Me, Above and Beyond. They pumping these videos out about Michael Jordan. Now, the OGs got to go. Because back then in the 80s NBA, outside of Kareem and Parrish, players only played 10 to 13 years. Back in the 80s, with the way the 80s went and the training of the 80s, a player's body was really only good for about 12 seasons max. Usually players reach their prime by year 6, between 6 and 9. And usually by year 10, a player done maxed out and they're starting to decline after year 10. God damn that old ass nigga in his Harley. Swear to God, I hope he run out of gas. Anyway, I hope he run out of gas far from here too. Way down to Laguna Beach. Around white people. Run out of gas at night, nigga. Anyway, that's what happened. And the OGs went away, and he got the better team. During the time of NBA expansion. So in the 80s, yes, Magic is playing with two of the Hall of Famers, but he's playing against 5 Hall of Famers. You see how that worked? The teams were much more concentrated in the 80s when it was 24 teams. When you have rapid expansion, the game expanding like that, then you get a whole bunch of players in the NBA that don't belong there. And the talent gets spread. So Reggie Miller never got a chance to team up with another Hall of Famer. Patrick Ewing, Elijah late in his career, you see he won one. Elijah won one without another Hall of Famer. And then won one with old ass Drexler. But the greats, Ewing, Mitch Richmond, of that time, Reggie Miller, Charles Barkley, these guys never got a comparable Hall of Famer on their team. The way Bird had McHale, Magic had Kareem, Dr. J had Moses, Isaiah had Dumars, and that whole team. Well, Reggie Miller and those guys never had a comparable star next to them. Michael Jordan did, and Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen was the best one, probably the best role player the best number 2 you'll ever have on a team is Scottie Pippen. He defends all the other team's best players, runs the offense, and allows you to get the ball, gets the ball to you where you need it every time you need the ball there. While you're playing against players who do not have a comparable star. But what you do have as Michael Jordan is ESPN, Nike, and the NBA all being vested in you being the greatest. Because the more money Nike makes off your shoes, the more they're going to pay to ESPN and those partners for marketing. That's why, going back to what we're talking about ESPN, when Disney took over ESPN in 2002, you saw the way basketball was talked change. It went from discussing the game, this player, that player, whatever, to arguments and debates. And it started out with cold pizza, Woody Page on cold pizza. And it started out with the Skip Bayless, them two. But them shows, you had Partner Interruption. Michael Wilbon, he's the angry black guy. Go watch PTI. You got the angry black man and the old angry white man, Wilbon and Kornheiser. And you get these characters because ESPN is all about characters. And you get these characters to fight. But you have them fight over a small, narrow, contrived argument. And what that does, it incepts in your mind a thought that you think that you created yourself. Now, I'm not saying people in their 40s and 50s, they can really think Michael Jordan's the greatest because we all had WGN. We actually could watch those games that he played. But I'll be having people that are 35, 30, 25 trying to tell me Jordan's the greatest. Nigga, you didn't see him play? And hell, half the niggas in their 50s didn't sit back and watch him play. Them niggas was... Let me tell you what Jordan is. Jordan reminds niggas of the years of their life when they still had a good hairline and they didn't have nobody on child support. That's what Jordan... Whenever people see a Michael Jordan video, that reminds these niggas of a time they weren't hooked on somebody's child support when these niggas was rocking MCM and that nigga had a Mustang 5.0, had all the hoes and a good hairline. Michael Jordan nostalgia for these niggas. They wasn't even watching them games back then either. All this shit is contrived when it comes to sports. It's to get you niggas sitting on your ass doing nothing, arguing more about who's the GOAT than getting off your ass and doing something. And it makes the white man comfortable watching you because you're now boxing one of those stereotypes. They can watch the stereotype. They've been conditioned to watching stereotypes. Disney has America trained on stereotypes because they get us as cartoons. Shrek. We all know Shrek is a nigga. You get the ogre. Hell, I could play a good damn angry black man too, my big ass, but I'm not. You dig what I'm saying? They sold you niggas on hope, on on hype. Jordan was great at what he did, but he was just the greatest player of the 90s. He was the best player in the NBA for the decade of the 90s. Magic was the best player for the 80s. Kareem was the best player for the 70s. Wilt Chamberlain was the best player for the 60s. Kobe was the best of the 2000s. And it's a split between LeBron and Steph Curry for the best of the 2000 teens. It's a split. So stop it. If Jordan was the greatest, they would have put his numbers next to Kareem's and Wilt's. But if you notice, every time they put up Jordan's numbers, they didn't put Kareem up there next to him. They didn't put Wilt's numbers up there next to him. Why? Because he wouldn't have looked so great. He just would have looked like, oh, he would have looked great. He still would have looked great because he's next to Kareem. But you'd have been able to tell easily, oh, what makes him better than that guy? That guy won 6 championships too. This guy scored more points than anybody of all time. He got more blocks, got more rebounds. Damn, you can't sell the Jordan lie if you put up Kareem's stats next to him. And you bet not put up Wilt's stats next to him. Neither one of them niggas. Somebody says, hey, explain highest player efficiency rating of all time, Martavelli. Explain that. That's some shit you just read. Now explain it. How does that correlate to the game? How does player efficiency rating correlate to the game? Talking about some nobody averaging. Niggas, motherfucker, Wilt average 50 for a season. What the fuck is y'all talking about? And when it comes to awards, again, who determines the awards? Nike. Nike's why LeBron won Olympic MVP over Steph Curry. Hell, Nike's the reason why there even was an Olympic MVP award. They didn't even have no fucking Olympic MVP award in England, in Sydney. Them niggas literally just created an award to give to somebody. Like, here. They didn't even have no Defensive Player of the Year award wasn't even around most of Kareem's career. Hell, they weren't even tracking blocks most of the early part of Kareem's career. See, niggas just come up with a stat with an award that was just created out of somebody's imagination 2 years ago and be like, see, he won more awards than them. Nigga, the award didn't even exist when he played. That's why. Fuck out of here. They sell you niggas numbers because you niggas don't know shit about numbers. Don't tell me nothing about numbers if you can't tell me the difference between mean, mode, median, and range. Fuck out of here. You don't know numbers, Black. Look, you niggas don't know numbers. Stop it. Stop it. Y'all couldn't even pass Algebra 2 right now. You wouldn't pass a statistics class. You don't understand how to interpret numbers. Y'all don't. Numbers are the easiest things to lie to you with. If you want to lie to somebody, give them statistics. If you want to fool a fool, throw numbers in their face. Numbers will get your ass every time. I encourage y'all to read this book right here, man. I've said it before, How to Lie with Statistics by Daryl Huff. If you don't understand statistics, please read this book. I can change the rules on you. 2016, the NBA. Okay, for all you people talking about some Joker and Jokic, do y'all know the reason why assist numbers started going through the roof after 2016? It's because the NBA changed the rules. Freedom of motion. No, you can no longer bump the cutter. Cutters now get a free pass to wherever they go. That's why literally the next season, Russell Westbrook averages a fucking triple-double. It's no coincidence that nobody in the history of the league outside of Oscar Robertson, when they weren't even counting triple-doubles, it's no coincidence that nobody averaged a triple-double until when? They changed the rules. The rules got changed a lot in the last 10, 15 years to make the stats go up. Freedom of motion. You can't bump cutters. All of the whole giving and clearing space for the shooter to land. Those rules made numbers easier to come by. And if you give somebody the ball every single fucking play, Scottie Pippen could have averaged a triple-double if he was running a high screen and roll offense. But you niggas don't know basketball, so you wouldn't know that. If I'm getting the ball and I'm dribbling, and every play, here comes a screen. I got the option to come off the curl off the screen, shoot it. I got the option to curl off the screen. I got a shooter over here. I got a slasher right there I can throw the lob to. And I got a shooter back here. And every play, 100 plays a game, I got the ball in my hand. And I can dribble to a spot. And then let the action run. And so since the rules have changed, and in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s, if somebody cut, as a defender, I can bump them to knock the timing of the play off. Now, when it comes to making passes, it's going to minimize how many open passes, how many open lanes I get in the game. Now, I can throw anticipation passes because I know that once he cuts, this nigga can't stop them. So once I do a negative dribble, bring the ball back, and I get a back screen set, I can throw that pass. Because if he bumps my cutter, that's going to be a foul. Stats. But you niggas don't know basketball. All you know is he had 2 triple-doubles and 16 MVPs. Corny ass niggas, don't argue with me about basketball. I forgot more basketball than 99.9% of you niggas will ever know. Hell yeah, Grant Hill would have averaged a triple-double if he played today. The rules were different. Again, that goes into why you cannot argue this shit. It's best players of eras. The rules change. And when the rules change, it's going to make the numbers look different. And if you took everything I said and I'm breaking things down to the letter of the law of the game, you're just a fucking retard. Some people are just retarded. No, Jordan did not create the global phenomenon. Nigga, Magic and Bird did. God damn, see, I don't even get that part right. That was Magic and Bird. Jordan went on beyond what they did. That was Magic and Bird that created all this shit. Magic and Bird is motherfucking Melly Mel and the Furious Five. Jordan is Rakim. He just took it further. No, I wouldn't even say that. Jordan is 90s hip-hop. Basketball evolved in the same kind of weight as hip-hop. In the 70s, it was kind of like, people kind of watched it. Magic and Bird is what made everybody watch it. And Jordan was the next generation that built upon what Magic and Bird did. And the first popular video game based on Magic and Bird. The first popular shoes, them Converse, that was based on Magic and Bird. Them weapons, yeah. It was Magic and Bird. Magic and Bird had the highest rated, still to this day, the highest rated college game of all time. So you Jordan dickheads don't even know shit. That's why it's so easy to get rid of a Jordan fiend. Because you niggas don't even know anything about basketball outside of Jordan's 6 years in the NBA. Jordan fans know 1991, 92, 93. They skipped 94, 95. They know 96, 97, 98. And because of those 6 years, he the greatest of all time. And this is what they say. I'm glad I got this response. And after all that, this is how they all end. Jordan is still the GOAT, period. You know what that means? I don't have anything to say to combat what you said, but my belief is strong, and I'm not going to change my beliefs because my beliefs are my beliefs. Well, J-Rock, I'm not going to argue with your beliefs. People believe Jesus has a hole in his hand and he's going to come back to save them. I'm not going to argue with you. All right? Never argue with a zealot. Where that? There we go. Never argue with a zealot. Okay, Timmy, you win. You believe in the tooth fairy? Okay. Make sure you put your tooth under your pillow so the tooth fairy can give you some money at night. Okay? I'm going to back off now. I'm going to back off now. So let's go back into this ESPN situation. No. Here we go. There we go. So let's go back into it. Yeah, Matt. Jordan peeps need safe space. Hey, Matthew, if you can call in right now, call in. I don't know where you are, Matt. I'm going to open up my phone line. Nobody call in but Matthew Marr. He's a basketball historian. He's a basketball historian, a draft historian. I want Matthew to call in real quick. Then I'm going to go back to this because I'm glad this audio leaked. I'm so glad this audio leaked because it basically exposed what people even like Matthew have been saying for a long time. He has a channel called The Draft Review. He's The Draft Review, and if you want to know there we go. All right, cool. Let me hold on. My phone ain't lying on. Hold on. There we go, Matthew. Yep. That's you.
Yeah, that's me.
Hey, what's up, man? Thanks for calling in, my brother.
Hey, what's good with you?
Man, it's good. First off, before you even get started, tell them your channel. Where can they find you?
They can find all my work on the draftreview.com website, NBA draft historian, research and chronicled every single player that's ever been drafted since 1950. Writing a book right now about that. I've been scouting and doing draft reports since 1997. So heavily in the game, man.
Heavily in the game, man. And for those of you who don't know, that website, Basketball Reference, I see them quote him. The person that's on the phone, Basketball Reference, people at ESPN, they quote this guy that's on the phone right now. So that's who you're talking to. So we talking about the ESPN thing. Where do you want to go? Do you want to go on the ESPN side or do you want to go on the Jordan side? Where do you want to start?
Man, I'll go wherever you want to go, bro.
Let's start off by talking about, since we're on Jordan, let's start by talking about the whole Jordan thing and how they sparse stats to elevate him to the top.
Mm-hmm.
What's your point of view on that? On how they do Jordan and now what they're doing with LeBron, and then we can see after the next move probably after that is probably gonna be Joker. How do they do this? Like what like how do you see this happening? What's your point of view on how they sparse these stats to push somebody up in front of our face?
I mean, the NBA is a machine, and David Stern, I think, I consider him one of the greatest sports commissioners. I think he's also one of the biggest gangsters that's ever walked in sports. That's a different conversation for a different day. But he figured out really early that you have to basically incentivize fans to basically watch players, not necessarily complete reverse marketing that the NFL and Major League Baseball was doing with teams. He did it with players. So he found out, if I let Nike get all this access and Converse get all this access, they're going to market us for free and we're going to get paid. We're going to get money. So he figured that out really early. So ever since then, the NBA has been in a constant rotation of finding young guys and making sure that they put them out in front. And don't get it twisted. He's also turned the water off on some people. So like Allen Iverson, for example, he was a guy that the NBA pushed for a little bit, and then Iverson did his little rap, CD, and David Stern turned that water off real fast. Turned it off so fast, AI unfortunately never even released it.
And
so
I heard that Kobe recorded an album that David Stern never allowed him to put out.
That's a fact. I've heard the same thing. I've never heard the tracks, but I've heard the same thing. So, I mean, that's David Stern 101. I mean, and again, I think this is also the biggest difference between the eras too, is if LeBron James tried to have his son get drafted in the era where David Stern was playing, being commissioner, David Stern would have been like, nah, dog, not happening.
That would not have happened.
He was straight gangster with that. And then Luka trade, David Stern would have nixed that. He did it with the Lakers. He did it with the Bullets when they tried to send Juwan Howard to Miami. So, that was a different era. David Stern was just very hands-on, and he didn't give a damn.
Yeah. Yeah. So talk to us, man, about how and you ever notice how what they will do, how they write players out of history? When you talk this, let me give you an example. When they talk sports, all throughout this was a gripe that I had throughout the 2000s when T-Mac and all that generation was still at their prime. When the T-Mac, Kobe, Vince Carter, Iverson, Stephon Marbury era was really at its prime, and Sean Marion and those guys, it's like they couldn't make a move without being compared to Michael Jordan. Everything was Jordan this, Jordan that. And in doing that, they basically write out the players that you're actually looking at. Basically, that invalidates what you're looking at when what you're looking at can't get its own shine without Michael Jordan being referenced. And you don't see that in football. You don't see that in baseball. Tom Brady got to be Tom Brady without Joe Montana's name being mentioned every 6 seconds. Talk to us about why the NBA does that versus other sports.
I mean, I think the NBA does that because, again, they're such a player-driven marketing league. They're always looking to build excitement, and the best way that they can build excitement for the next guy is to basically, compare and contrast him from the guy that actually is in the league right now. I mean, we saw it with Harold Miner, Kobe Bryant, Tracy McGrady. I mean, all these guys came in with a Jordan stamp, and some of them didn't do well, some of them did do well. So I just think that's the only way that the NBA, unfortunately, has figured out how to market players. And I also would say, some of that is because, as you know, back in the 90s, we didn't know what European players looked like, for Pete's sake. I mean, we were getting grainy videotape. We didn't,
right.
know what any of those guys were looking like. And you could barely get a UCLA game if you were on the East Coast. So, it was just a different time. And I think that was a way that they were using it to try to market players that maybe mainstream, didn't have internet. So you just try to figure out how to market those players to the masses that haven't seen those guys. So I think it's a dated practice. I think they don't do it as much as they used to. I mean, like when Zion Williamson came in the league, they didn't really put a whole lot to him. I mean, they kind of allowed him to be the unicorn that he is at 285 and 6'6", but you still heard people saying like, oh, he's kind of Barkley-esque. It was like, nah, Barkley never jumped like that. So,
man, right. So that takes us into this. Sorry, I know I'm gonna let you get out of here pretty soon. I want to talk. Let's go back to this ESPN situation, and them using Stephen A. Smith as an angry black man. I know you've been somebody that's very well respected within NBA circles, college circles, and basketball circles in general. Hell, I met you through I'm Greg. I'm trying to almost drew a blank.
Greg Newell. Yep.
Greg Newell, the son of the great
Yep.
Pete Newell, and
Yep.
that's how I met you. So you've always been somebody very respected in those circles. Talk to me about like this whole situation with Stephen A. Smith being the angry black man, and how ESPN uses these characters over to put on TV versus somebody who really understands the game like you.
I mean, honestly, I'm kind of surprised it's taken people so long to figure this out. I mean, me and you had always talked about how ESPN kind of does a modern minstrel show where they have the white sportscaster go against the black sportscaster, and of course, there's also racial lines always included in the commentary. So, I don't know why in 2025 people are now figuring out that that's been Stephen A's shtick. I mean, that's always been his shtick. And I think he gets that. I'll be honest with you. I'm a little torn because I don't like how it seems like he's the only one that's getting the backlash on it. Because like to me, you can't tell me Skip Bayless doesn't do this. You can't tell me some of these other sportscasters don't do this. I think
I was just talking about like Tony Kornheiser, how PTI is basically a show of the angry white man and the angry black guy.
Right, correct. And I mean, look, it's Disney. They're gonna figure out a way to market characters, as you put it, and no, it's like the Bird and Magic thing, right? I think Bird and Magic sold because you had the black versus white tribalism thing.
Caitlin Clark versus what's her name?
Angel Reese, correct. Yeah. So tribalism works, and I think that's what ESPN taps into when they do the alternate racial lines between the sportscasters. I think they know what they're doing. Yeah. I think they know what the anarchy that they're putting into commentary. And I think it forces people to pick a side of the conversation. And more times than not, more people will side, whoever their tribe is more than likely. So I think it dumbs down conversations. And unfortunately, I think it creates really bad basketball commentary, which, I mean, basketball, it's weird to me. Basketball is the one sport among all the major sports that to me has suffered the most in this new setup. I mean, baseball, not as much, football, not as much, but definitely basketball. Basketball is hurt tremendously by these conversations that are happening.
And I'm glad you brought that up because it's like, I like watching Wimbledon, and people like watching like the Olympics. Let's use the Olympics as an example. People, if they're watching the Olympics, they'll just sit there and watch. And, it's about the excitement. It's about this. When they watch football, it's about the game. Who won?
Mm-hmm.
When you watch basketball, it's my boyfriend is better than yours. Basically, it turns into this full-on conversation of, there's this heartfelt level of love and passion, and you get casual people who they never play the game. They never coach the game. They don't know the difference between a pick and pop and a pick and roll. They don't know the difference between a pin down and a smoke screen. These people don't know anything about basketball. If you say, okay, go finish right shoulder, they'd be like, huh? If you tell somebody to pick out the short corner on a court, they'd be like, huh? They can't tell you where the elbow is. They don't know what high-low is. They know absolutely nothing about basketball. But they will sit here and argue you down to the ground about who the greatest is, and then they'll throw numbers out there, and they don't even know fucking stats. You don't see that in no other sport. What's your opinion on that?
I mean, I think a lot of people don't understand that, and particularly with the MVP voting that we have, right? Like when me and you were growing up, Jordan probably had a couple seasons where he should have got 3 in a row. LeBron had a couple seasons where he should have got 3 in a row. But there was always the voter fatigue, right? Well, then Steve Nash comes out and it's like, well, he's a 360 shooter. Well, we didn't give the MVP award to Bird when he was a 360 shooter. We didn't give it to, Mark Price, Reggie Miller when they were 360 shooters. So it's like it's become a narrative-based sport with basketball. It's just like, look, I don't even know what commentary is coming down the line, but I can tell you this: whoever wins this year, there's going to be articles and conversations about how now where they place all time. It's like, dude, what? How are we here? And we just saw them play in the NBA Finals, and now we're already talking about where they are on the all-time ranking list. Like, it just doesn't happen in any other sport. And I think it happens in basketball because I just think that these are like barbershop conversations that people love to have.
It's some barbershop conversations, and they use the stereotypes of people to deliver those conversations while not telling them a damn thing about it. So what the end result of that, because this has been going on ESPN now for about 20 years. So now you got a generation who literally this is the only thing they know about basketball or in general is arguing.
Right. No, I don't even think they love the game as much. I think they love the arguments at times.
Yes.
You know, like I have conversations with guys, and I'm like, "Did you see that play?" And it might not be the spectacular play. It could be like I showed somebody a play with Buzelis took Luka on the baseline. I said, "Man, that was a pretty little move there," and the guy was like, "Oh, but Luka's better." I'm like, I get that Luka's better. I was just talking about that was a nice play by Buzelis. But immediately he wanted to create this argument that I was saying that Buzelis is better than Luka, which I wasn't. It was just like, it was a nice play. And I think that's almost lost at times with people. I think people just stop focusing on the beauty of the game and start just focusing on where, oh, I want to argue. It's like, bro, what are we arguing about right now?
Yeah, sometimes you'll get a beautiful like cut backdoor, and it'll be like, and like Jokic made a good backdoor pass last game on a cut, and I didn't even want to post about it because instead of somebody keeping it sports, they'd be like, I already knew the first response would have been, "See, man, this is why he's better than Shaq." Like,
right.
I'm just pointing out a good play, you know, and you
Right.
can't even do that now, and that's why it was got to be. You see, we've known each other for a while now. You see how little I talk basketball now, how much I talked 10 years ago versus now. I don't hardly talk it at all because I just don't want to deal with these obsessed male lover boys with these athletes. I don't get it.
No, I don't get it either. And I mean, like, you know, me and you had this conversation a long time ago, and I ain't trying to set the chat on fire, but like, I always tell people, like, and it's not me dissing Jordan. I think Jordan put in work. I think he's on that first tier list of all time best players of all time. I put guys in tiers. I don't do greatest of all time.
That's
so
another fair way to rank tiers.
Yeah, I got him. I got Magic. I got LeBron. I mean, I got guys on tiers. I don't do the whole ranking thing, but I'll say this. You know, Kobe did everything Jordan did, and he elevated it. So I'm just saying, people can take what they want from that. But
here's the crazy part about it. The crazy part about that is you really did have to preface that because all you have to do is look. You know, did Kobe do a lot of things like Jordan? Yeah, in the 90s. But when you see his game as you get 2002, especially post-2002, when he went from flat shot Kobe to footwork Kobe, especially when we got into 24, and a lot of things he was doing with his feet and the handle and the range, their games are absolutely nothing alike. By the time you get to 2002, Kobe and Jordan's games are almost nothing alike other than a fadeaway. And even when I talk about the Jordan fadeaway, it's not the Jordan fadeaway, it's the Carolina fadeaway. People seem like if you went to Carolina under Dean Smith, Rasheed Wallace, Rick Fox, it didn't matter. You were going to have a fadeaway in your game. Jerry Stackhouse, Jordan just did it better than everyone else, you know? But that's a Carolina staple. The 2-0 pull-up, that's a Jerry West move. The high flying act, that's Dr. J. It's all these elements, David Thompson. And it's like people act like Jordan just created a game out of thin air, and now everyone wants to be that when Jordan was a student of the game, the same way Kobe was a student of the game. And I think that both should be appreciated for being students of the game and taking what they saw before them, mastering that, and elevating it. Because Jordan elevated what West was doing. He elevated what David Thompson and Dr. J was doing. But he was still doing what they was doing to a point, only to elevate it and make it his own. Kobe was doing what Jordan was doing to a point, only to elevate it and make it of his own. And there's literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of games as evidence to prove what we said. But you'll get these emo dudes and you have to preference that. And you can look and see.
Yeah, man. I mean, again, I challenge anybody. Just watch the games and tell me you don't see Kobe taking those moves and elevating them. I mean, when he's in that first All-Star game and he's talking to Jordan about how he feels defenders with his legs, and he's getting all these little pointers from Jordan, he then takes that and he puts more to it. And before you know it, I mean, we don't really still have anybody that's like Kobe out there. I mean,
yeah, we don't have that
in terms of putting. Yeah, we don't. I mean, Anthony Edwards, I love his game. I like what Shea's doing, but we still ain't got nobody that's put it all together like Kobe.
Yeah, that reverse fader with that reverse pivot footwork. I still don't know how he does that without traveling. Like the one he did on Kenny, the pump fake reverse pivot shot. I don't understand that move footwork wise. I could never coach it.
Man, look, I would love somebody to try that. If anybody thinks that's an easy move, do that on a Nerf hoop, bro. It's it's a little difficult, man.
Yeah, man, but I don't want to take up too much of your time, man. But thanks for giving us a call, man, to drive home what we've been talking about, man.
No, I appreciate you guys, and love the show, man. Appreciate you having me on.
Yes, sir, man. Let's talk soon.
All right. Peace.
Yeah, that was Matthew Marr, basketball reference, the basketball review. You'll find his stats and everything quoted on Basketball Reference, and sometimes quoted on ESPN. A true basketball historian. That was Matthew Marr. So appreciate the call, brother. But so let's go back to some of that interview and break down some of the things that was being said. No, the phone lines are not open for everybody. The phone lines are not open. I'll open up the phone lines a little bit later. I still got one more thing I want to go back and talk about on this, because I went way and diverged. But I want to go back to what he said. Let's go back to what he said and break some of this stuff down. Hold on.
Fox News will have them do like a 10-minute, we have this one guy, his name is Stephen A. Smith. He goes on Fox News probably like once a week. And he'll talk about like Gaza. And he has no idea about Gaza. Fox News will have him do like a 10-minute conversation with their anchor talking about like his views on Gaza. And we're like, brother, you were just talking about the Lakers like 3 hours ago. Like, what do you know about Gaza? He is the angry black man. He plays the angry black man on TV. The angry black man stereotype is basically you're loud. You talk over people. What you say is not necessarily important. It's more how loud you are.
Right there. That part, what you said right there. What you say isn't necessarily important. It's about how loud you are. And listen very closely to what Ryan Bertrand said. And Ryan Bertrand's a black, he's a light-skinned black dude talking like this. So he can have this conversation. He's black himself. But even if he was non-black, he can have this conversation because he's not talking about Stephen A. Smith being an angry black man. He said it right there. He plays the angry black man character. That's the character used to drive home the bullshit that they're selling. I want to salute to Lord Jamar for having me on the show a couple days ago. Art of Dialogue and Joe Budden clips picked up on our interview yesterday. Salute to Lord Jamar. But y'all see this? He's talking about a character that Stephen A. Smith plays. And it's a character that America accepts. He's not calling Stephen A. Smith an angry black man. This is more of an indictment on Disney than it is on Stephen A. Smith.
And how you deliver your speech. He does that pretty well, which that's why I can respect why they paid him. Because he knows his role. He knows how to play that role really well. And I think the higher ups at ESPN and Disney see that. He's like this angry black man that literally is cursing LeBron James or cursing somebody else or whatever.
He basically right there said what people like Kwame Brown been saying. They use ESPN to cut black men's contracts.
this angry black man that like literally.
They see me. And remember what Stephen A. Smith said? He said, when I wake up trying to find ways to make my bosses more money. Y'all remember when Stephen A. Smith said that? He wakes up looking for ways to make his bosses more money.
ESPN and Disney, you see that? He's like this angry black man that like literally is cursing LeBron James or like cursing somebody else or whatever.
And with that being said, I want y'all to go to intellectualpower.net. Intellectualpower.net. This is some brain food right here. We got it pinned at the top. Click on the link. Type in the product code DBrown to get 10% off. Intellectualpower.net. This here gets my mind right. I can only speak for me. Can't speak for the next person. I can only speak for me. Speaking for me, this is the shit. And speaking on based on reviews from customers of mine, female customers of mine that have gotten the peace pads, I've gotten good reviews from the women who've used that. I personally will never know. Because we don't play that Democrat shit over here. We got men and you got women. The women who've gotten the peace pads have given it great reviews. I personally have taken this intellectual power, and I still do. Every day. You should too. 10% off product code DBrown. And also, make sure that you click on the link for Reza's event, May 3rd here in Compton, California, an event on reproductive health. Make sure that you click on that event and RSVP. It is a free event, okay? But back to what this dude Ryan Bertrand is saying.
Stephen A. had been talking about LeBron's son for like a while. And long story short, LeBron like confronted him at a game one time, like lately or like recently. Like stepped up to him and like basically said, "Stop, talk shit about my son." And then ever since that, Stephen A's been on like 4 different podcasts, basically like, I thought it was a weak move, like coming up to me and whatnot. It's just this whole like embarrassing thing that we're all like rolling our eyes at. They just think he's crazy, just trying to create attention, you know, which is his job, I guess. He gets paid a lot of money to do that. So
his job is to get paid to create tension and to get attention. And salute to Ryan Bertrand. He should not be fired. Matter of fact, whoever recorded this, they need to find out and expose whoever recorded this and put it out. And also, pay attention to the timing of this. This gets leaked at a time that ESPN just re-signed Stephen A. Smith to a higher contract. You know what that is? This being put out, this being allowed to put out, that's also a Negro wake-up call to Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A., stay in line now. Stay in line. Because if you notice, Stephen A. has his own personal podcast. He goes on other people's podcasts. He's going on Fox News like he was saying. Stephen A. Smith is starting to spread his wings. And I will say this. He does a good job at it. He does a good job with the bullshit, Stephen A. Smith. This is them telling him, we still looking at you, homeboy. All right? Don't get too big for your britches now. Don't get too big for your britches. We still looking at you, homeboy. Today is this league. Tomorrow it can be another one that's more damning. So don't get too big for your britches, nigga. That's what ESPN is saying. So just understand this. Everything you get in sports is contrived. All of this shit is contrived. It's fake. It's fake. It's a bunch of contrived bullshit that sells shoes and product and batteries and shit. It's not a real thing. The NBA isn't a real thing. It's not real. ESPN is not real. So while you got all these niggas, but it's very good at what it does and it's very successful at what it does. Because look at the end result. They got people that will fall out. I've seen people fall out with people who've had their back in real life over a debate on Jordan or LeBron or Kobe. I've seen people, when you look at all these things going on, you got grown-ass men over here defending Bronny James. Don't talk about him. But then let Russell Westbrook miss a shot. Oh, he's West Brick. Like, dude, you don't talk about a black man and his black son. Well, y'all allow Stephen A. Smith to talk about Kyrie Irving and his dad and his black son. Kyrie Irving there with his father. Yeah, he has his father at the game. He still should have taken the jab. You will let somebody clown and talk all kind of shit about every one of them black men, but because you've been propagandized, don't talk about the brother's son. No, my God, you're hurting my feelings. Man, shut up. Michael Jordan is the GOAT. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care. Well, why did he lose to Isaiah Thomas 3 times in a row if he's the GOAT? Just because his team wasn't good enough. That's because his team wasn't good enough. He went 6-0 in the finals. Well, is it because, can you name one team that Michael Jordan played against that he didn't have the better team? Could Michael Jordan 6-0 finals be just because he had the better team? No, it's because he's the greatest. Well, wouldn't the greatest have beat Detroit? At least 2 out of 2? At least go 2-2? No, don't say that. I'm just, no. Michael Jordan the greatest. Don't say nothing else to me. That's how you niggas sound. Stop acting like hoes. I'm about to open up this phone line, but before I open up the phone line, it's just basketball. Basketball is fucking entertaining. There is no greatest of all time. But as a human, you have the right to have your favorite of all time. And your favorite of all time is your favorite of all time. I'm never going to argue with you, and nor should anyone argue with you over what your choice is for what your favorite of all time. But when you try to make your favorite of all time the greatest of all time and my greatest of all time, fuck you. Because that's some hoe shit. Hoe shit is needing other men to agree with you to validate your opinion on another man. Hoe shit is spending more time talking about Jordan and LeBron than you can talk about Ida B. Wells, than you can talk about John Henry Clark, than you can talk about Dick Gregory, Dr. Claude Anderson, and what's going on in the world today. If you know more Jordan than you understand geopolitics or the politics of the community, in the city, in the state, in the town that you live in, that's some whole shit. You gotta stop that. Have more passion about the things that affect us and you and we on a day-to-day basis than some fucking Jordan debate. All this Stephen A. Smith being the angry black man and, oh, I'm gonna fight, my man's the greatest, yours is it, ah! That shit weak as fuck. And I'm not here to say I'm perfect. I used to engage in this type of discourse. But one day I had to wake up and ask myself, what the fuck am I doing? Why in Sam fuck do I give more of a care about Magic Johnson's third quarter statistics of a game that happened 15, 20, 30 years ago. Why do I give more of a fuck about that than passing along information that's going to help us rise as a culture? I'd rather learn things that I can teach them kids I was working with at the time, or now on YouTube talking to y'all. I'd rather discuss pertinent information that if you hear, you can do something with. Information that's tangible, that you can take something, raise your self-esteem, your cultural esteem. Information on what's happening politically that can affect your daily life so you can do something to protect yourself from it. That's much more of a efficient use of time as a man than this person had 45 triple doubles and 6 MVPs, and that's why they're the greatest. Cause that's how you niggas sound. Talking all day about the greatest of all time in sports in that fashion is some whole shit. It's good to have a good conversation. It's good if you at least be smart enough, like my man Matthew Marr, who called in earlier. He's monetized that. He's an authority. There's most definitely a profession in doing that. And if you're going to make that your profession, then that's fine. But nigga, you work for Waste Management. Go pick up that goddamn trash. Over here tweeting up about to run your garbage truck into somebody's car because you want to tweet statistics from the 2016 finals. Stop it. It's time to reprioritize. And also to understand that when we see these Stephen A. Smiths on ESPNs, these are stereotypes, man. These are characters. These are characters put out there to waste our fucking time. ESPN, Stephen A. Smith is just a character. These TV shows are just plays. They're not real. You dig what I'm saying? So with that being said, don't be a hoe. Stop all that hoe shit. Care more about your people than you do these people. Fuck these people. They out here to propagandize us. Don't be propagandized. Watch sports, have a good time, and then go about your business. Don't let this shit consume you. And with that being said, the phone lines are now open. 323-744-7425. And can we all say, amen? Don't be a hoe. 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 All right, now let's get back to some other music. Call in 323-744-7425. What's your point of view? What you think? And make sure y'all stay around after the video to leave a comment after the video. Make sure to leave a comment. Oh, and Patreon. I've got to mention Patreon. We're about to get. We have a lot of stuff up there on Patreon already. We're about to have another Patreon live music mix down. We're gonna have one of those later on tonight, Sunday night. It's gonna be free live, but it's gonna be a music breakdown tonight. We're gonna have a music jam session that's gonna be exclusively on Patreon. After we're gonna do it, I'm gonna give it to you for free. If you're on the free tier on Patreon, go to patreon.com/DejuanB. Those on the free tier, you'll get it. But when we're done, and it's also going to be on Mixcloud for free and Twitter for free. But when we're done, it's going to be a Patreon exclusive. And I got some Patreon exclusive interviews coming this week. Appreciate the super chat, Carl Langley. He said, You don't have to be a hoe your entire life. You can change now. Pick up the phone. That's right, Carl. You don't have to be a hoe your whole life, man. Look, I used to waste time. I'd be in college, especially if I saw my homeboy Reggie. We be in class, them niggas be arguing. This is like the 2000, 2001. Hey, Dewan, come up here, man. These niggas said Vince Carter better than Kobe. Then I would come up. I got a whole motherfucking anthropology class to go to, and we sitting up there in Santa Monica College on Crenshaw. It was a walkway at Santa Monica College back then where all the black people kicked it, and we all called that Crenshaw. We all kicking it on Crenshaw at Santa Monica College while arguing who's better, Kobe or Vince Carter. Because that was a real argument in 2001. Vince Carter was on some shit back then. That was a for real bona fide argument at that time. Who's better, Kobe or Vince Carter? And I remember sitting there, and then I looked at my phone. I was so late to my anthropology class that I didn't go. And at the end of that argument, the person who thought Vince Carter was better still thought Vince Carter was better when the argument was over with. Me and my boy Reggie still thought Kobe was better. And the nigga who thought T-Mac was better than both of them, he thought when the argument was over, and I missed the whole fucking class. That I'm paying for, by the way. I realized back then, man, shit. I done missed the whole class. Talking about some rich niggas. Damn. Nigga had to learn to mature, you know? Had to learn to mature. Make sure you hit the like button. 323-744-7425. Oh, shit, I got 2 missed calls already. Somebody called at 154. My bad. My bad. Yeah, so, and matter of fact, I don't even, well, if you call it. Matter of fact, because I'm doing this Patreon tonight. We doing some music talk tonight. So join the Patreon, and we got some interviews coming up this week. I'm going to meet with, sometime this week, we're going to meet with the company man, Justin Hunt, talk some music. I don't know what day yet. We trying to figure that out. Trying to figure out the platforms too also. I'm going to see if I can call Dr. Clyde Winters back this week to talk, because the last one, the programming wasn't right, because I got to switch some shit on my computer. Y'all calling me right now. I can't. Hold on. My bad. Like, y'all been calling me. I can't. My phone's working fine when Matthew called. The fuck? Hold on. Whoever it is calling, I'm trying to click on you, but this shit is not letting me click on your call. That's okay. I gotta fix some shit on this end anyway. I don't know what just happened, but I'm getting calls and I cannot click on them. Oh well. I don't know what the fuck going on. Anyway, hit the Cash App $sign Dewan B1. We're gonna get up out of here. We're gonna do a Patreon later on tonight on some live music mix downs. We're gonna have a good time. My Mixcloud folks be there. We're gonna play some music and have a good time, all right? And don't fall into the trap. Do not fall into the trap. You know, have a good time watching sports. Have your favorite players, but man, let's leave our real energy for the real shit. And Northside said they have a production meeting for every show. It's all predetermined debates. Real talk, brother. Real talk. I'm going to get a new phone line pretty soon, too, because Skype said that they're about to shut service down in May anyway, so I'm about to get a new phone line anyway, y'all. So I don't know if I'll be able to transfer this number over to wherever my new phone place is going to be, but we're going to have a new phone line coming soon because I don't know what the fuck going on, all right? But anyway, thank y'all again for listening. And remember, we got 800 people in here between YouTube and Twitter. We got over 800 here, so I need the 440 on Twitter to retweet. I need the 400 to 350 over here on YouTube to hit the like button. And make sure when I hit end, Ben, Frank, Damon, Reeves, appreciate y'all for joining. Delano L, Carl. Make sure y'all all leave a comment as soon as this video's over with, all right? To push it up in the algorithm, because y'all know I'm shadow banned. All right, Hood Politics, make sure you still leave you late. Watch the replay, brother, and make sure you leave a comment at the end of the video, all right? Thank y'all again for listening. Remember, there are no perfect messengers, only perfect messages for those willing to pick up the game. We out.